Hi, this is Kamori, and today we're going to be doing a slightly different type of video. For those of you who frequent conventions on the East Coast of the US, you may be familiar with two of the popular early year conventions, Magfest and Katsucon, and they both take place in the same location, the Gaylord National Harbor. So, I've been going to both of these conventions for some time, and since I know there are a lot of people who may be going to these conventions for the first time, I'm going to make a video about where to eat in the surrounding area. Now, all of these places are going to be outside the Gaylord. I try to avoid eating in hotels as much as possible because it does tend to be a bit pricey, especially if you order room service. So all of these are going to be outside of the hotel, and I hope you enjoy this video. Now, just so you're aware, all of these locations will be linked in the description box of the video if you want to check them out. If you can, check out the menu, see, because I know lots of people have different dietary preferences and dietary restrictions, so not all of these options may be what works best for you, but if you want to plan out your trip, definitely take a look. And with that, we'll get started with the first restaurant on this list, which is Cadillac Ranch, and this is kind of an American bar food style restaurant. It's not that far walking distance from the Gaylord, and my friends try and go to this restaurant at least once during our convention experience, mainly for their loaded fry appetizer, because it's fries with bacon and ranch and cheese and all sorts of delicious, not very healthy goodness. Next up is CVS. Now, CVS really isn't a restaurant per se, but it is worthwhile knowing that it is within walking distance from the Gaylord Hotel and because they do sell prepackaged food and beverages if there is something particular that you need or if you are on a very strict budget for the convention. Now, it is worth noting that it is not a 24-hour CVS, so definitely keep an eye out for the store hours just so you don't wind up in a pinch. Location number 3 is Elevation Burger. Now, Elevation Burger is a little bit more gourmet and a little bit fancier than your average, like, say, McDonald's, which there is a McDonald's nearby. And Elevation Burger, if you're planning on walking, it is a bit of a walk from the convention center. Now, it's not really that bad of a walk under normal circumstances, but if it is one of the Katsucons and or Magfests where it is really, really cold outside and the wind is blowing really strongly, you may freeze on the way to get there, even though it really isn't super far. So that's just something to keep in mind. But it is one place that they do have, while not vegan, there is the vegetarian option of getting a grilled cheese sandwich instead of a burger. And you can put toppings on the grilled cheese just as you would the burgers. So personally, I like putting fresh tomatoes on it, but once again, comes down to your personal preference. Location number 4 is Subway. Now, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say about Subway. It's pretty much the same as every other Subway you see in the US, but the one thing Subway does have going for it is that it is one of the few locations that's open around breakfast time if you need something in the morning. Number 5 is Thai Pavilion. Now, this is a sit-down type restaurant, but they serve really, really good Thai food, and honestly, this is one of my favorite places to go around the National Harbor, especially if it's cold. A nice big plate of, personally I like pad thai, but they have all sorts of different options, and whenever we've gone there, everyone that we've went with has said that their food has been delicious. And probably the easiest way to find it is just, they have a giant intricate silver door in the front of the restaurant, which is the just beacon out in the middle of the cold. So definitely very high on the list of recommendations. Place number 6 is Chipotle. Now, kind of like Subway, Chipotle is the same as every other Chipotle in the US. It's a build-your-own burrito type of restaurant, you can build your own burrito and eat it there, or you can build your own burrito and save it for later and put it in your convention fridge, like one of my friends does, and saves it for midnight snacking. Now, place number 7 is Potbelly's. It's a step up from Subway. It's a bit more gourmet, a bit pricier, and they have hot soup and sandwiches. Location number 8 is Nandos Peri Peri. I will admit that my opinion of this restaurant is slightly biased. I'm not super big fan, and that is because the one time we tried going on Magfest, they had overbooked the kitchen between taking dine-in and carry-out orders, and we ended up waiting like almost 2 hours between coming into the restaurant, standing in line to order food, waiting for the food. That whole event took almost 2 hours. So hopefully they will have learned their lesson from that and be a bit more organized when it comes to prioritizing food and how many orders they can take on at a time. However, I personally am not going to be eating there again anytime soon. There wasn't anything wrong with the food, it was just the wait was so long. So, I mean, it's a good option if the wait isn't very long, just something to be aware of. And lastly, number 9 is Fiorellas Italian Kitchen. Now, this restaurant is a little bit further down, because there's an area that you can walk down to get to, and there's some shops, and it's a little bit off the main road, and that may be why the one time we went, there was hardly any wait at all, whereas a lot of the restaurants that were open at night were quite packed. But it is a sit-down type restaurant, but if you need some nice warm Italian food on a cold convention night, it is definitely a great place to check out. And those were my suggestions / reviews for places to eat around the National Harbor if you're going to Magfest or Katsucon this year. Now, granted, it's been a year since I've been there, so there is a possibility that some things have changed. However, if there is anything that I missed in this video, please let me know in the comments below if you have any other suggestions for places to eat around that area. If you'd like to see more videos of this type, let me know in the comments below. And thank you very much for watching. Bye.